Hey, welcome back. I have an incredibly special treat for you today. We're going to look at Tasuo Showdown. You might ask yourself, what the heck is that? Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm going to tell you all about it. It's a game independently created by a gentleman who has been working on this game for 7+ years now. He's finally to a point where he's got things packaged and ready for release. He's working on what he's calling Season 1. He'll have additional seasons as the game kind of progresses. He sent me what you would essentially like the biggest order kit you could get from his shop. It's essentially the 2-player starter kit. It comes with 2 of this real nice playmat here, which we'll take a look at in a second, and everything you would need to get started. Typically, it comes with 2 of the same deck, the Kia Wolf deck. But him and I have been talking a lot and just kind of on board with the project, and he kind of sent me the 2 that I was most excited to play, just as my sort of special treat. But I thought that I would go ahead and kind of show off what we've got here, let you guys see what we're working with, and what would happen if you would order something like this yourself, what you would need to play, what you have to look forward to. So right out of the gate, there's a few things here. This is a bagged item that typically would have came in kind of like a deck box. In the version that he sent me, just for the request that I made, it just came bagged, but if you were to order it yourself, it'd be boxed like an actual starter deck. But we'll just kind of go into each of these. They're produced through Game Crafter, so if you've used their services before, you'll be pretty familiar with the sort of pack material that they use. It's the same kind of product that they use for all of that. But everything's in, is pretty good quality, at least especially for like indie developed stuff. It's not, pencil on pieces of paper. So I'm just going to kind of get everything out of the way here quick first. We'll take a look at this playmat. I'm not going to go be able to get all of this in frame, but there's quite a bit going on here. There's an outer zone, your deck, dead zone, your different areas for the game itself. I admit I haven't gotten to play the game yet myself. I'm learning that this afternoon, actually. But you've got legendary item zones down here, which your deck can include a few of. And you've got different types of energy and plays that you can make to perform attacks. And it seems like a pretty expansive board state, but I've been assured it's pretty intuitive once you get into it. Things kind of go where you feel like they would go. But I just think it's a really nice mat. It's it's a nice kind of medium thickness rubber. The texture is really good. I like it a lot. He does include just a pack of dice. I got 2 kinds of dice here, one for each sort of deck that I ordered. Any 6-sided dice will work. You just need a few of them. The game also has a meter that you call Tasuo armor, and within it, it's got different. Where are we at over here? Well, here for starters, we've got the phases of your turn. 3 here. The focus phase should be phase. Obviously, being independently developed, a lot of this is just a single guy going through making his stuff and then kind of putting it out. It's in it's definitely in a status that you would call like early access, where it's working through the kinks and just kind of getting it out to the public, letting people see proof of concept and what would exist. Changes are always being made and improvements are always being pursued. The product here is good, and it's standard kind of like Game Crafter paper, but it's that kind of linen feel. And then you've got just the sort of spins that go on here. There's different, there's like a little planet that lines up here, and as different things happen within the game, different energy will kind of spin through here. Here it almost looks like it's got a little number up there, but we'll get into. I'm sure I'll learn more about what these do as the game goes on. But you get 2 of those in your kit. Each player would need 1 of these. So handy to have. Then you would have this pack here is the Season 1 responsive cards. It's called the Season 1 responsive promo pack on the site. But this pack is full of your what's called responsive cards. They're like traps. If you've played Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like Gate Ruler or anything like that, where you've got kind of a back row, stuff like this will kind of go there, and they're just sort of things that will interrupt the state of the game. This pack here does feature the two sort of main characters of the extended world he's created within the Tasuo Showdown franchise. Here we've got Leo Shizen, and this is Theo Star. They're both sort of, they're both the two kind of main characters. What we have to expect from them within the lore of the story itself is yet to be revealed. They're coming here in the near future, so we'll kind of have to keep our eyes peeled on what their roles do. I really like the design of both of them. Leo's a really cool look. I like the purple and gold. And then Theo's just got a really his costume, his suit is just very it makes a lot of sense. It seems very ergonomic and like it would do what it's supposed to do. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of crack this pack here. These Game Crafter packs do peel fairly nice. They're not quite as nice as like a mass-produced booster pack paper, so they are a little bit more difficult to kind of crack your way into. But they do have the nice little rip tab if you needed it to. Otherwise, of course, you can always kind of cut from the top. So as we kind of take a look here, first off, we've got Small Chaotic Storm. All of these cards are going to say responsive at the bottom. These are all just different responsive cards. But what we've got here is, as an effect, target a face down or legendary item card on the field and send it to the dead zone. Got Leo on his own card here, Backstep, working on his way, dodging an attack. When a warrior controls attacked with a grab, throw, or physical attack, evade it. Just a defensive card. Got ourselves a Small Chaotic Storm. Another Backstep. We've got a double Backstep. When a warrior can control his target with an area attack, effect, or ability, evade it. So similar evade to this first one, although just for slightly different attack types. Got a Small Chaotic Storm. Small Chaotic Storm. Backstep. Small Chaotic Storm. Double Backstep. Small Chaotic Storm. Backstep. Small Chaotic, double, and Backstep. So in this pack of cards that I got 5 Backstep cards, and one of them is actually a holographic here, a foil. Looks really nice. It's a little bit hard to kind of catch on camera here. The foil on this one's a little bit faint, but it is a foil copy. I've also got 4 copies of Double Backstep along with a foil copy. See, now I'm the kind of guy who's going to need to buy 4 of this pack because I need foil playsets. And that's going to be my problem. But as we go forward here, I'm sure one of these... Oh, I don't get any foil Chaotic Storms. Well, now I'm going to have to figure out if it's even possible. And if so, how I'm going to have to hunt it down. But you get 2 playsets of Small Chaotic Storm. Playsets in this game are 4-ofs, for the most part, unless the card explicitly tells you otherwise. So that's our evade cards there. Then this one here is the defensive promos. These are just your general defense cards. And I have 2 packs of these. Realistically, if you wanted to kind of like play competitively, you would want to get 4 packs of this just to get a set of everything that you can have. But 2 of is plenty to kind of get yourself going with one deck and kind of get the ball rolling. If you're just doing 1 pack, as far as like starter decks are concerned, he recommends like 1 of these packs plus however you're going to build your deck will at least let you have some defensive support. This pack opened up a little bit nicer. Not all the way down though. There we go. All right. So first off, we've got a Bone Crushing counter, and this is a card featuring a character from the Bone Crushers sort of faction. They're like wrestlers. They're really interesting, but I like their design a lot. Effect: activate when a Bone Crusher you control is attacked. Target the attacking warrior with a minus 2.5, or with a 2.5 damage attack, and apply one of these effects for the type of attack. So I'm not 100% certain how to read that yet. I'm gonna learn that today. But you can give it a punch. Target can't use punch cards, can't use kick cards, or can't use physical attacks. If the attack is a legendary item card, send it to the dead zone. Got a kick, catch, slam. Warrior your opponent controls attacks a warrior you control with a kick. Kyushu, catch the attack. Target the attacking warrior. The target warrior receives minus 2 damage. Or well, 2. I think you just read that as like 2 damage. And can't use kick cards in the next clash phase. Kyushu is a word that he is using in this game. I believe it just means catch. It's kind of followed up by clarification of the word, but it's part of his like world building. His different moves and things do have their own kind of words. We'll see more of that as we go. Got a quick back handspring. Oh, I think this one might actually be our main character. Theo. When a warrior you control is attacked with a physical or area attack, evade it. We've got jacket on, jacket off. These are this character is from another one of the factions in the game. Let's see, it doesn't actually mention him in the game itself. They are called the Baransu. They're like monks, as we'll see a little bit more here. They use staff weapons and things like that. This one has an effect, minus 1 clash gauge. When a warrior you control is attacked with a physical attack, that does 2 or less damage. Kyushu, catch the attack. Then we've got Calibrated counter. When a warrior your opponent controls or attacks or targets a warrior you control with a physical attack, parry the attack. I don't know the rule yet for parry. Parry is a specific type of defense in the game, and I think it just stops it, but I know there's a little more to it. He has like a full rule book that explains it a little more thoroughly. And another quick handspring. Shattering counter. Effect: you have to have a combat gauge. You have to have your combat gauge at 1 or higher. Activate if your warrior's attacked or target with a strike, punch, kick, grab, or throw. Target the attacking warrior that attacked your warrior. Receives double the damage attacked for. Oh, wow, okay. It's a little bit confusing wording for me. Maybe it'll make more sense as I play, but I think it's when your opponent uses a punch, kick, grab, or throw against your character, you can use this to give the character that attacked your guy double the damage your guy got attacked for. Swift back handspring. Or you control is targeted by an area attack, evade it. Punch, grab, slam. Another bone breaker character. When a warrior your opponent controls attacks or targets a warrior you control with a punch, Kyushu, catch the attack. Target the attacking warrior. The targeted warrior receives 3 damage. Got a back handspring here featuring Leo. When a warrior you control is targeted or attacked with a physical attack, evade it. Easy. And we got Graceful Parry featuring another Baransu character. Parry. Oh, hey, cool. No, I thought maybe it was explaining it there, but it's just parrying your next. It's just explaining more of what that card would do. Got a Ninja Roll. When a warrior you control is attacked with physical or area attack, parry it. Oh, and then we got into some foils in the back here. See, like I said before, I'm gonna need foil copies of these. Quick back handspring. When a warrior you control is attacked with physical attack, catch it. We talked about that one. Got a calibrated counter back here. Ooh, we got 2 back handsprings. 2 counters, and 2 backhand springs. Okay, that's awesome. So you would just need 2 packs of these for foil play sets of these guys. Good thing I have 2. So then I'm not going to get into this second pack of this quite yet then, just because it's going to be just, again, exactly what's in here. I suppose, well, hang on. We'll take a look just to see if the foils change. That would be neat to know if the foils are always the same or if they would vary pack to pack. Let's take a look. So I know these, as far as I know, aren't like randomized booster packs. So it should be the same order we had kind of before. Yeah, so that's all looking the same. We've got a quick back, calibrated, quick back, backhand spring, calibrated. Okay, awesome. Well, it's good to know that the packs of this are identical. You do get your foil sort of play set of these 3 specific evasion cards, but the rest are pretty much the same across the board. Lastly, we get into a little bit more of the kind of meat and potatoes of the game here. This one is the Omni Brawler booster pack, is what they would call this product on the site. The Omni Brawlers themselves are a little bit different than some of the other classes in the game in that their characters themselves have their own attack abilities. So their deck doesn't have to include attack like action cards. We'll see a little bit more from the Lotus tribe here that they've got you can see their deck is quite a bit larger here. They would have more of their own kind of like special cards, whereas these guys, their cards are kind of built into their own characters. I think the Omni Brawlers just looked really cool. I liked the design of each of them, their kind of overall look. Ooh, foil right out of the gate here, foil Lenny. He looks really cool. The foiling on him looks really nice. GameCrafter has this kind of habit of off-centering your borders. It happens a lot with their game. Some of them come out okay, but some of them are always like, seems like they tend to be shifted one way or the other quite a bit. But the card itself looks really cool. He's got 9 life. It's your character's sort of total health, which is what you're doing the damage to. He's a fire type character, and as you can see here, it's a little bit small, but it does say Omni Brawler. He's from the Omni Brawler faction. Effect of this warrior sent from the field to the dead zone by a clash. Emergency call to an open zone with half its life. When this warrior ends or sends a warrior to the dead zone, it can't attack until the end of this turn. So this is really cool. If he dies, he just immediately comes back into play with half of his health. This makes him real sticky and hard to get off the board. His ability is once per turn, this warrior can attack a warrior for 2 damage. It's a fire type physical punch, and you can chain with it. Again, I'm not 100% sure what all that means yet, as I still need to get into the rules of the game, but I imagine that's a pretty good effect. He's kind of like the main dude of the faction. This is the guy that I thought was coolest. I just really like his design. He looks really neat. He's called Ty. He's got 7 life. He's a little less powerful health-wise than the last guy, but as you can see, he's a little bit smaller dude. He doesn't have a type, but he is a Omni Brawler. His effect is once per turn. This warrior can't be sent to the dead zone by a clash or effect. So similar to the last guy, if this guy would die once per turn, he just can't. That can't happen. So that's cool. He also can't be removed by an effect once per turn too. So the premise of these guys, as you can tell, is that they're just sort of stuck on the board and hard to get rid of. He has a couple abilities. One, once per turn, this warrior can attack a warrior for 2.5 damage. It's a physical punch, chainable. And his ability 2, when this warrior has 5 or more life, once per turn, you can change the warrior's element to steel until the end of the phase. +1 to his damage. So there's a little bit of kind of character lore to this guy that I've looked into or asked about. So this guy is actually kind of modeled after Mike Tyson, the real life boxer. Ty is kind of the idea there, but the sort of known tagline nickname for him is, Iron Mike Tyson. So Ty, the sort of future Mike Tyson here, can become a steel type. Clever. Then we've got April. She's got 6 life. When this warrior is called, add an Omni card from your deck to your hand. And then ability twice per turn, this warrior can attack a warrior for 1.5 damage. So she can attack 2 times in a turn, which is cool. And then when you play here, you get to grab an Omni card from your deck and put it into your hand. That's pretty powerful. We get into a non-foil copy of her, non-foil copy of Aleni, copy of Ty, copy of her, copy of Aleni, and copy of Ty. And then finally a copy of her, copy of Aleni, and copy of Ty. The deck, or their sort of booster pack, is just a playset of the 3 of them. They, as I said, typically a deck would have their characters plus some additional stuff, but these guys, since their abilities are kind of built into their characters, they're a little bit more of a unique faction. Finally here, we'll just look into the Lotus tribe real quick. I have just opened and kind of sorted through this bag a little bit, but just to put the cards in order. We've got Torch, the Fire Lotus Spirit. He's just he's kind of their familiar. And he's got an effect. You can only have 2 of them in a deck, but when he is on your side of the field and you control a Lotus technique, your Lotus warriors can't be targeted by effects or abilities. And then you can send this card from your dead zone to the out zone during your opponent's turn to add a Lotus legendary card from your deck to your hand. The deck itself will typically include 2 of this. The printing of this unfortunately only included 1, but he's corrected that and has the order updated as well for anyone who orders a set of Lotus in the future. He is a foil. Typically the deck will include 1 foil, 1 non. We've got 3 copies of Keono, the Keono of the White Lotus. She is a character you can only include 3 of in a deck, so he only includes 3 copies here, and there is 1 foil. You can only have 1 of her on the field, and then you can only have 3 in a deck. When she's called, you can add as many Black Lotus cards from your deck to your hand for as many Lotus technique cards as you control. So that's cool. We'll get into that card in a minute. She's got 8 life. I really like the kind of character design of the Lotus tribe. I think they look really neat. We've got Kasim of the Black Lotus. You can only have 1 of him on the field as well, and only 3 in a deck. But the turn this warrior is called, it can't be countered. When this warrior sends a warrior to your opponent's dead zone, you can add a Lotus card from your deck to your hand. So these guys just constantly get to put stuff from their hand into the deck, or from their deck into their hand, to help with keeping their hand advantage up and giving themselves more options. I think that's really neat. When he's on the field, if you control a Lotus technique, double the damage of your White Lotus cards. Then we've got Kasim of the Black Lotus again. Slightly different kind of alteration of him. This one you can actually include 4 of in a deck, and you get 1 foil copy. If you control another Black Lotus class warrior with different names, when this warrior is called, you can emergency call a Lotus class warrior from your deck with 5 or less life to an open zone. Once per turn, this warrior can attack a warrior your opponent controls for 0.5 damage. So he just has a small little attack on him, but when you play him, he gets to play another character. Then we've got Lotus Lily of the Lotus Clan. Effect, while Kikamuri of the Black Lotus is in your side of the field, this warrior cannot attack. While Kasim of the Black Lotus is on your side of the field, this warrior's element is Shield. Ability, while Keono of the White Lotus is on your side of the field, this warrior's element is Solar. You get 4 copies of her. Then we've got Black Lotus, Dokubutsu Ken. Her effect can only be activated by a Lotus. Her effect can only be used by a Lotus class warrior. Attack a warrior for 2 damage. If the warrior is blocked, the target receives Doku. Again, I'm sure there's more of a meaning to that, but I don't have that quite yet. Actually, she's not a character. This is just a strike attack. We do have they have their own responsive card. Black Lotus Dokubutsu clone. Effect, you can only have 3 of in a deck. When a shield element Lotus class warrior you control is targeted by a punch, kick, strike, grab, or throw. Target the attacking warrior, and the target receives Doku. Must control a White Lotus technique on the field to activate this effect. And what do you know? White Lotus. White Lotus is a legendary item. Effect, this card's name is also treated as Black Lotus technique. While this card is on the field, Lotus class warriors attacks start at chain 2. You get 4 copies of that, 1 foil. You get 4 copies, of course, of Black Lotus technique, which also counts as a White Lotus technique. While this card is on the field, Lotus class warriors attacks can't be blocked. So, as you can kind of tell here, there's a little bit of combo setup to these guys. But I think that's really interesting. That's the kind of game I enjoy playing. Then we've got a White Lotus Quan Quad Combo Punch. This can only be used by a Lotus class warrior. Target a warrior 4 times for 0.5 damage. If 2 attacks are successful, target warrior gets target the warrior 1.5 life. And, well, I'm sure that'll get cleared up for me in a minute. I'm still a little uncertain on some of the just kind of text on some of these, but this is apparently a pretty good card. I was talking to him about this one before. This is a card that he said that is one of the best punches in the game. Can only be used by a Lotus class warrior. Attack a warrior for 2.5 damage. This attack cannot be evaded, parried, oried, or Kyushu caught. There's a little bit of a typo here that says can't not. It should just say can't be evaded. He was originally writing cannot and corrected to can't and caused an issue. But the official kind of release of this card will say this attack can't be evaded. Finally, we've got Lotus Away Back Flip. Kick. There we go. The art is cool. It kind of moves into the bottom of the card the way the rest of these do, but it gives a little bit of dynamics to the card. We have talked a little bit about how it would be cool if it was a little more up here and wasn't just like leg the card, but that's a little bit of the nature of the program itself that produces the art. Anyway, target a warrior your opponent controls for 2.5 damage and launch the target. There's a little bit of a combo chain kind of thing you can get going with a launched attack and what that means. And finally, we have 4 copies of Lotus Lily Somersault Kick. Attack your opponent for 2 damage. This attack can only be chained with an attack with spin in the title. During your clash phase, if this card is in your dead zone, you can send it to the outer zone 2 to target and attack your opponent for 3 damage. So it's just, it's nice. It's an attack you can use not from your hand. You've used it once before. You can get rid of it later to do it as an additional kick, additional attack. You do have to do it after a spin. So there's a little bit you can get going with that. But this is an interesting attack too. And again, is another one of those where the art kind of fully kind of moves into the card here, but in a perfect world it would be kind of here. But time heals all wounds, so the future, who knows what the future may hold for some of the kind of layout of some of these. But that's the last of the products included in what I got. I think this game seems really interesting. It's just like a duel-based game. It takes a lot of inspiration from some more like Japanese style card games, Vanguard, things like that. But the more I was talking about it, it does share some similarities with things like Score's Dragon Ball Z game, or even a little bit of like Flesh and Blood nowadays, where it's attack and defense based kind of back and forth combat. I'm excited to dig into it. I'll definitely be playing some of it, and I hope you guys thought this was interesting. If you do, feel free to check out his Facebook page. He has a Discord channel as well, and a shop, which I'll upload all of included in the description of this video. And take a look for yourself. I think this is a really cool thing. I think it's really cool to see independent artists and creators working and doing their thing. I respect